They don't think you could do it, but tell you to try when they talk. All I hope had to keep it at last. Spend a day in the Bronx, but you wouldn't survive. Can be low when I pop out, they know I've arrived. I go have conversations with Zoe, he gon' tell me pull up and come say what you know. I've been up, I can count all them days in a row. We don't say what we do, we be making the show. They say I'll be
the voice of the Bronx. We have Bronx Slam with the guys that are out here. Can I get a yeah?
Leave them all right where they at. Try to diss me, I bet I don't even react. Put a show on, I bet you somebody gon' I pick me a book up and drink me some water, invest in the stock. All
right, peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. Today is another one of those days on the podcast. You never know who you're going to see. This is a full circle moment for me, for a guy who I've listened to high-level conversations and him, consuming his content and everything he's poured out to the community and for young black men such as myself, just to get something that uplifts you and it's good for the spirit, and something that you could put your brother on to, yes, and it's going to do him good as well, man. Nice to meet you, my brother.
Man, pleasure to be here, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you being here, 19 Keys in the building. Before we do the rollout, we're going to start right here. Your greatness will trigger insecurities. What does that mean to you?
It means, for me, it's not your responsibility to heal others. It's not your responsibility to try not to even trigger others. At the end of the day, if your greatness, meaning your success in life, the amount of ability you pull out your own potential, right? You having increase and expansion and your own growth, right? Make other people mad, jealous, envious. It's not your responsibility to safeguard their feelings, emotions, or triggers, right? It's your job to maximize, right, the impact that you have on this planet Earth. It's your job to be as great as possible as you can within the time frame that you have from the beginning to the end, right? It's not your job to babysit others' feelings and emotions. Mm-hmm. So you have to know that success triggers people. Because it makes people think about their own insecurities, right? And that makes them doubt themselves. That makes them hate themselves because a lot of times they do compare and contrast. But it's not your job to stop your greatness so that you don't trigger other people's issues.
Don't comfort the weak. It's their job to tighten up.
Yeah. I mean, shit, that goes into exactly what I just said. It's like, I'm a tough love type of person. You know what I mean? It's like, people have to, be given sometimes discipline and parameters on how to move. Sometimes a lot of people want to try to figure out how to baby people and soft love people into things. And for some people, they need some, a lot of compassion and empathy, right? But for me, it's like, man, we need more soldiers in the world, right? A soldier knows how to do things even when they don't feel like it, right? And to me, that's right there at the emphasis of the thesis that I have as I go about moving in society is sometimes you ain't got to like the order, but if you follow it and it helps us, win the battle, which ultimately wins the war, then it's a good order, right? So sometimes I give orders to myself. I don't feel like following it, but I know I'm only giving myself that order because it's from a place of love, right? And it's the best thing that I need to do right now. So it's like you can go with your desires or your emotions, but don't even coddle the weak side of yourself, the side that don't want to do the work, the side that's feeling bad. Nah, man, go ahead and strengthen that side of yourself that can persevere, that's resilient, that has grit, that has the tenacity to be able to move forward, even in the face, of weakness, in the face of doubt, in the face of insecurity, in the face of fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, build that part of yourself up where it's like, I don't even feel like working today. I don't feel like talking to this person. Or what if they say this? Man, cut all of those doubts. To me, the doubts is the devil.
So he's a global thought leader, entrepreneur, designer, Crownz Society, the Uniform of Gods.
Yes, sir.
Award-winning show, High Level Conversations.
Yes, sir.
Right. What made you start High Level Conversations?
Because I always look at, anytime I start something, whether it's Crownz Society, Go Water, High Level Media, High Level Conversations, it's all about what's needed, right? If I can create something that has a impact on the world, then I'm changing the world, right? So at the same time, I thought about consciousness and the aesthetic of consciousness, right? A lot of time, consciousness is not aesthetically pleasing because you'll see somebody, it's like a man on the street that's homeless with wisdom, right? the messenger is not packaged correctly for me to receive the information because he doesn't look like a byproduct of his own consciousness.
Right.
If this information is so brilliant, how come it's not working for you?
Mm.
So for me, high level conversations was the repackaging of consciousness for a new era to be able to get those missing conversations that they may never get in the household that make them feel like a black sheep, that may be expansive for them. And then looking at the podcast landscape where most of the podcasts that we have are not really valuable conversations. It's entertainment that doesn't provide value.
Right.
So this is edutainment. How do I get into your Netflix time to
Right.
where you don't even feel like you are losing anything? You feel like you're gaining. Like, damn, if Netflix had it on there, I would watch it. If Amazon have it on there, I will watch it. Instead, okay, I got to watch it through the platform of YouTube. So I'd rather spend time doing this than that. So high level conversations with me filling the gap, because they've often also said that we're not interested in things like that. Like, people don't watch long-term content. It was counterculture to what people were telling me I should do. Nobody advised me to do long form content and talk about conscious conversations in business, technology, science, philosophy, right? Theology, metaphysics, occultism. No, they was like, that ain't nobody want to hear that, especially not 3 hours. People got short term. And I'm like, they don't hear it from you. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference.
Right.
Right. But I understand my brand. If people sit on a live and listen to me talk for 2 to 3 hours, if I package that correctly, then they're going to want to hear the kind of conversations that they're normally not privy to because we're not documenting it.
Right.
And so shout out to the team. We've been able to do an incredible job at, creating high level production and giving quality content that showcases that we really care about what we do.
Right. What comes to your mind when I say Oakland?
Home.
Right. How was growing up in Oakland?
I mean, it was where I got my real black militant revolutionary spirit. I would say my street Muslim consciousness and culture from, right? Because I feel like the Crownz, Crownz Society really represents that upbringing of connecting like culture and consciousness, that merging of like the street culture and the conscious culture together.
Yes.
The sun, moon, and stars instead of a bandana, right? You got that cosmos in your head.
Right.
You still have that same strength,
Yes.
right? But it's directed into a higher form.
Mhm.
So it's not the paisley print, right? So for me, like, that design is like my experience with Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you grow up in Oakland, you got to have some measurement of understanding about the history of, our stance in America, the revolution, the oppression, because it's reminders everywhere in Oakland, even though it's heavily gentrified now. But I seen men with power out there. I seen men that, that's where I learned how to be disciplined. That's where I learned my drilling techniques and, my militant side of self. That's where I had my real first jobs at, you feel me, in Oakland. So I also had like my worst experiences in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Seeing family members smoke crack in front of me and having to go to school the next day, was a terrible experience. Being so broke, we had to steal from the grocery store just to eat on a daily and then have to have a positive attitude going to school and do work, and being at war with certain people that was in the neighborhood and people that was supposed to be, you know what I mean? So, we had an interesting experience. I remember my uncle died. He died on the train tracks in like Richmond. It's still a mystery about his death to this day. And he was the one that used to take me to like the movies and like the one that I looked up to, but he lost his son to gun violence in Oakland. And I think ever since then they kind of tear him apart. But as I think about Oakland, I think about these kind of stories. You know what I'm saying? I think about the stories of success, triumph, tragedy. I think about the days where, I was homeless, or I didn't have a job, I was jobless, or I think about the hustle. I think about me jumping into Prada and learning how to study the world of design and fashion and style and how to clientele and do business. You know what I'm saying? I think about the fights that I had when I was a child that showed me how tough I was because I didn't have this element of fear embedded into me. I think about the missions we used to go through. So many things that Oakland brings up, man. It's the dichotomy of 19 Keys.
Right. How would you describe the younger version of yourself?
We'll say curious, ready, a young soldier, highly spirited, intelligent, you know, somebody who has a optimism on his own future, right? A lot of that child that I protected up until adulthood still maintains who I am, which is
Right.
why, like with the fam, you know what I mean? Like I'm as funny as Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We be kicking it, we be laughing, we be joking, we be enjoying life. Like I used to draw when I was a kid. I still draw and design today. I used to speak on stages as a child. I used to still speak on those stages today.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all the things that I was at child I am today, I feel like, yeah, younger me, is just a less good looking version of current me.
Right. What was your relationship like with your parents?
It was cool. You know what I mean? Pops, I looked up to Pops. He wasn't always around to teach, but I learned lessons about him through his reputation and through observing him,
Right.
right? It was oftentimes what he didn't say versus what he did say.
Right.
Right. He wouldn't always be there. He'd have bouts where he'd just disappear out of our lives and know where he was. So, I never looked to Pops for the source of like protecting me. You know what I
Right.
mean? I was never spoiled with that operation. I heard T.I. say yesterday, when you got an older father, you probably will end up playing dominoes with him than catch. I
Right.
was with Pops, you know what I
Right.
mean, at an
Yeah.
older age. So Pops was always the OG, you know what I'm saying? Pops was always a gangster and a militant. And, I always looked at the respect that other men had in him.
Right.
You feel me? And I always wanted that in my social circle and social hierarchy and peered him. So I feel like I didn't really get cool with my pops though until I was adult to see him as a man, to forgive him for the mistakes he made.
Right.
And when my mom's, growing up with moms, I always see her, she was the one that instilled being good in us and doing the right thing.
Right.
But she also, you know, was always pushing us to be tough and never to be
Right.
cowards. You know what I
Right.
mean? If somebody mess with you, go handle them by any means necessary. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like my mom's knew that when we was getting in the streets, you feel me? I think she had a bit of confidence in me to be able to handle myself because I used to try to bring her as least amount of problems as possible,
Right.
right? Because I've seen some of my brothers and give her that stress. My father give her that stress. So I never wanted to bring my mother more stress.
Right.
You know what I mean? My mom was like the angel. You know what I mean? Pops was the mafioso.
Right.
That's where I get my balance and duality from.
Right.
Both of them told me I was a god. And that reinforcement from both of my parents came in many different ways.
Right. What kind of a friend are you?
A real one. I'm probably not. I'm not always the friend you want. I'm the friend you need. You know what I'm saying? Cause no matter what you call and tell me, I'm gonna tell you the real shit. I don't want to hear you crying, sobbing, none of that, man. Let's get to the business. I'm always gonna have some ideas, some vision. You know what I'm saying? I'm very strong hearted. I'm the tough love friend.
Right.
You feel me? I'm the one that's gonna speak that truth. You feel me? But I'm gonna challenge you, but I'm also the friend that's really connected into my own mission. So I be feeling like if you're not adding value, ain't no point of us being friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm probably the easiest person to talk to because I'm always answering my phone for the most part. As long as
Right.
you're not calling me complaining, then I'll probably stop answering for you because I don't need that in my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm a real friend. Like we gonna learn from each other. We gonna build. I'm gonna push you to be beyond where you are. I
Right.
don't settle for people in that stagnation.
Right.
If I look at you and I can see your potential, I'm frustrated with you until you bring that out. You
Right.
know what I mean? That's the type of friend that I am. But I'm also dependable and loyal as hell to a
Right.
fault.
Do you remember a time in your life when you weren't as conscious?
Not really. I always been conscious, even when I was dumb. You know what I'm saying? I was aware of I was doing dumb things. You know what I'm saying? Like because we grew up in, I went to a black Muslims private school in like elementary. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like to where they taught us who we were. They
Right.
taught us about the world. We had to recite it every single day. We had to learn what was called actual facts and general orders, and student enrollment, which was these assignments of thought to understand the world ourselves, right?
Right.
And take inventory of the world and be self-aware. So I came from a foundation of consciousness. I
Right.
didn't have the privilege of not being conscious, but I had consciousness, but not always intelligence, right? Which is
Right.
two different things. So knowing better and knowing how to do better, right? To me, it's two completely different things. I don't believe like my intelligence started to match my consciousness until my actions started to match my values.
Right. How were you in high school?
I was cool. You know what I mean? I used to sell weed in schools. It wasn't the most. I don't even feel like I was known, but I never felt like the popular kids. But I was the one that I can go step on. I can go to any table I want to, and I was the lone wolf. You know, some archetypes call that like the sigma male. You got
Right.
the alpha. Alpha is like the dominant one, want to be the popular jock. Then you got the sigma. He is just as tough as the alpha, but he got his own thinking, right?
Right.
He's usually a lone wolf, not particularly in the pack, you know what I
Right.
mean, but also known to, you know, move in a way that he wants to think. His adaptability and leadership skills is just on par with anybody else, and he's never seen his second or less. He has
Right.
his way of moving. And I was always that one, that sigma in the pack. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
I never tried to be the alpha, even though I always felt that energy. So
Right.
I'm like a mix between that alpha and that sigma, what we call that talk. You understand me? So for me in high school, yeah, I realized that high school was BS. So I always tried to figure out a way to jug the teachers, to manipulate the system so that I can get out of it and go to college. And I took 1 year of college. But in high school, man, I was chill, man. I sold my weed, I took my classes, you know what I'm saying? I hollered at the females. Shit, I got into a couple of fights. I won those, and then I got out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, my high school was crazy though. If you look at Roosevelt, I went to 4 different schools ever since middle school, I went to a different school every year. So I went to 4 different high schools. Every
Wow.
year I went to a different one. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So like, but Roosevelt was like the main one for me, and that school was like lean on me.
Right. Oh, Joe Clark and them in there.
Joe Clark, man.
Yeah.
And we had this bald-headed Ninja Turtle looking principal, and he watched that movie too many times
Right.
because he followed the exact blueprint of
Right.
Joe Clark.
Right.
The exact blueprint. Having it singing,
Did it work?
suspended people. I don't know. I have to go look at Roosevelt what it is today, but
Right.
it probably did. Probably did.
Right. So you said you did 1 year of college.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go?
I did. I went to Missouri Western University.
Missouri. Western
St.
Union.
Joseph.
Right.
Oh man. I ended up not finishing because I had caught a case during that time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? An assault case. We took that to trial, won. But yeah, man, college taught me a little bit of something.
Right. Would you say if you had finished, would it have been worth it?
I've probably been president or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them people. Worth it, yeah, because I'm always bring out the worth. I remember the dean at the school wanted me to be the president of the Kappas.
Right.
And the Kappas that got kicked off campus. My older brother was a Kappa, so you know what I mean. That was the one that I had leaned towards. But he told me he thought that they was gang members because they wear so much red, so that's why he was rocking with them.
Right.
And he plays in Talladega, so he wasn't on like paper Kappa. But the Kappas that got kicked out for the pledging that they did, you know what I mean, hazing
Hazing.
at the school. And the dean, he used to always see the most in me. He wanted me to be the president of the BSU, the Black Student Union. He wanted me to be the president of Kappa. And I just started thinking like, I thought about the money because they started telling me how much people pay to pledge. I said, oh, this is
Right.
going to be good business.
Right.
I said, wait a minute, y'all going to pay me if I'm the president and I ain't got to go through the process? I'm like, oh, I ain't gonna lie. I like this. I like this. I get to be the one that's the alpha.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get to
Yeah.
be. So that's the way I was looking at it. I remember starting like a group called Mind is a Business. And, it was MOB. So they was a little scared of that, but it was about bringing like minds together with ideas that we can fund and then share profit.
Right.
Right. So I would get the popular girls, guys, jocks, drug dealers, somebody who was somebody in school. I put all their name on the list, posted it around the school. And to my surprise, everybody showed up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like in college, I was the one with the baddest in the school. I got the baddest ones in the school. You feel me?
Right.
They let me use their apartment, driving their car because I came from California. So I had
Right.
that Bay Area lingo going
Right.
on.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Player.
I knew how to move and they didn't
Yeah.
understand the
Uh-huh.
rhythms, but I was in tune with the frequencies.
Yeah.
But when I started, man, I remember going to school because we coming from St. Louis. I was ghetto as hell at that time because my first day of school, I showed up in some khakis, some red shoes, red hat. think I had like a red shirt, red bandana in my back pocket. You know, like I'm really showing up like I'm about to goddamn be on how high banging on
Right.
campus.
Right.
Because we coming straight from St. Louis. So I ain't know much, man. I remember, I got some stories I ain't gonna tell on the story, but let's just say my first roommate, man, I told him he had to kick himself out the room because I didn't agree with his lifestyle. You feel me? And then I remember that spreading across the campus, and the ladies liked it because they was like, "Oh, you a bad boy," and I'm like, "Oh
Right.
God, I gotta make my rule known."
Right. So speaking of the ladies, what kind of a boyfriend are you?
Oh man, shoot, man, I'm just 19 keys, man.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Keeping it player.
Yeah. That's it.
Very tasty, cheesy, oniony, all of the above. One word to describe it, scrumptious, right? We from the town, so we just gonna say pause first, but it melts in your mouth. You just love it. You know what I'm saying? I wear this shirt to sleep. How much I love 7th Street Burger, man. It's near and dear to my heart. You see the logo? It's near to my heart. That's how we do it, man. Peace. How do we get out of the mentality that buying Jordans is more important than investing your money?
Buy shit. Investing your money instead of buying Jordans. I think it's simple. Go buy
Right.
some Nike stock.
Right.
If you believe in Jordans that much, buy the stock.
Right.
So when you see everybody else wearing their Jordans, they supporting you.
Right.
Because now that's your business.
Yes.
Right? One just thinks about how good you look, and the other one is thinking about your future.
Right.
Right? So you want a good looking, shoe collection, which they can be assets if you into the game of resale value. They can be clocked towards your net worth if that's what you're doing it for,
Yeah.
and you playing that type of game. But for the most part, average person ain't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not just Jordans, but it's kind of just thinking about, lifestyle and habits of all liabilities, and
Right.
how do we turn our liabilities into assets?
Right.
Because we can do that as well.
Right.
It's like one person probably really liked cars at first, and there was a depreciating value when you drive off the lot, but now it can be an asset. You can rent out those cars, you can utilize them for music videos.
Right.
You can turn, right, your liabilities into assets. It has to be a wealthy mindset though,
Right.
right? So it's like you can take your shoe collection and figure out how to turn that into an asset. Now you live in a wealthy lifestyle that's connected to your passions.
Right.
It's really just about your thinking around the things that you do. I
Right.
like to dress nice, but I want to make sure that if I'm dressing nice, I'm wearing that in content so that I get the value out of what I wear. And that's part of
Right.
my business
Right.
versus me just trying to stun on somebody, right? I'm a drip drown, you feel me? But I'm gonna make sure that when I'm stepping in the name of drip, it's also connected to my business
Right.
acumen.
Oh, so it's definitely in the name of
Yes, sir.
drip.
Yes,
I
sir.
like that. I like that. We got to take that one right there.
Nah, that's
So
already patented. Man.
right. Discipline.
Yeah.
Right. Why is it so important to have discipline?
Because you got to think about what happens if you don't have discipline.
Right.
Can't get nothing done.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you got any goal in the world requires a level of sacrifice.
Yes.
Right? To me, discipline is the sacrifice currency required to buy the things you want, to live the life you want.
Right.
So you ask yourself, okay, what is that I want? Oftentimes we have these goals, but we don't have habits attached to those goals. And it's like, all right, you may have this goal, but who you are right now is not the person that can actually accomplish the goal.
Mhm.
So you have to oftentimes become the person needed to accomplish the goal, because the goal can be greater than your current habits.
Mhm.
So you want to be a multimillionaire. If you don't have the habits of a multimillionaire, you can't do it.
Right.
So the discipline is creating the habits so that you can be who you want to be and get what you want to get, right? It's like if you getting paid, you got to have the discipline to save money.
Right.
Right? That means that not spending emotionally whenever you want to. It's like, no, I have a goal attached to it. I have purpose and
Right.
intent for my habits and my money. And then it's also a hack to it is getting a mentor and becoming a disciple of somebody else's mind.
Right.
What would this person do? So now you're taking on their discipline instead of yours.
Right.
So you're jumping out your frame of thinking, and then you're jumping into the frame of thinking of somebody you want to be disciplined as. When you get
Right.
into martial arts or study field, they say you're taking a certain discipline, which means you have to follow the mechanisms in that training,
Right.
right? You can't do what you want to do. You have to do what's required in that discipline in order to be a disciple of it, in order to get the results.
Right.
So the hack is, study somebody else, right? And see if you want their life, do what they do. right? If you want to be rich, do what the rich do. Follow the discipline of the rich. Doesn't mean that you have to oppress yourself and you can't eat certain things or go nowhere or none of that. No, that's not what successful people do. They enjoy their life, but they make sure that their life is in connection to their needs.
Right. So we were going to go through some tweets, but I want to take one now because it fits. But poverty don't make you righteous. Being rich don't make you evil.
Poverty don't make you righteous. Being rich don't make you evil.
That's one of your tweets.
I said that to provoke the mindset around these concepts.
Yes.
A lot of time people think that because they don't have money and that you're a have not, and there are people who do have, you think you're better morally, right? And that's false.
Right.
To me, it's 100% false. You being poor doesn't make you better than somebody that's rich,
Right.
morally. But the moral system of the poor person is to connect everything that a poor person does is good and everything that a rich person do is bad. Right? So if you stay poor, then you stay good. If you get rich, then you are now bad. So you have a repelling energy towards money and riches, right? But I want to see the rich be righteous, right? I want to see the righteous be rich, right? So I want those who are righteous with the riches so they can fund their minds. So we see new realities come about by new people having the ability to bring out their ideas in the world that are of good. So for me, the riches is about having the resources. It's about having the network. And it's also about having the willfulness and the ability to execute, because riches is knowledge as well. Right? The whole world has now been given riches and the resource of technology and information. Now, there's a difference between what some people do with information and other people do. Because money that's not the only form of riches. And it's definitely not the only form of wealth. So for me, saying that is also looking at, like, you may think these people are evil, right? And a lot of them are, right? We talk about, most of the world's wealth is controlled by a small percentage of the planet Earth. And that's by design, right? But I don't want people to repel the opportunities that allow them to empower themselves because they're programmed with an empowered slave-like thinking, right? No, you need to be empowered so that you can build, right, for self, and that you can change the things that you want to see change. But you can't do that without money. Can't do that without resources, without network, without access, right? So I don't want you to think that you are better because you don't have, right? Oh, I'm not famous. I'm a good person. I don't make you good. That's more virtue signaling that people start doing. That's nothing, right? And don't start thinking that everybody that is rich is evil, right? Because you just hating because you don't have it.
And that's that. If you can create a curriculum for elementary school students, what would it consist of it?
Well, right now we're working on textbooks, actually. Me and my brothers at Cheat Code, right? We're putting out textbooks about AI. We're putting out textbooks about media. We're putting out textbooks about financial literacy and economic literacy, right? And, creative thinking and all those different mediums, because for me, that curriculum has to be holistic, right? It has to be on the mental, spiritual, financial, and physical level, right? On the, of course, financial and economic level, you have to learn about the world and how it really works, right? The laws. You have to learn about taxes. You have to learn about insurance. You have to learn about, stock trading. You have to learn about, all of these different things in the economy and how they affect you, right? I think that's key. It's like if you read one of Ray Dalio books, it'll give you a master class about the world economic system. That should be taught in school. Right? Real true business thinking, and from a creative sense. And then from a physical level, right? If you everybody, like, gym culture is becoming bigger, right? People are looking better than ever in the combat against obesity towards gym culture, right? But people they don't really teach us how to utilize our bodies, how to maximize our brains. Like, we sell nootropics, right? I didn't learn about lion's mane and adaptogens and all these different things in school. I didn't learn that I can utilize these things for neurogenesis, right? And all these things to make me better, right? That should be taught in school, how your brain works and how you can hack your own brain, learning how to learn. These things should be taught. There should be a curriculum, right, for visualization and mental techniques, right? But it's not taught.
Right.
So, you know, I will go into the physical regimen of training, right? Like everybody should learn about the body's mechanics, right? Even learning how to walk right. Most people don't know how to walk right, right? There, you know, if you go into training camps of baseball players and football players, they learn techniques about body mechanics that we never know, right? So people end up developing these body issues because the mechanics of their body off, how to walk and how to move within the body. We don't even learn how to stretch our own bodies, and we definitely don't learn how to feed our bodies, right? So I think that the nutrition, the body mechanics, right, the brain health, what to eat, you know, the training aspect of it, all of that should be embodied, right? And early on that you learn the manual of the body, the customization of self. Then from a mental side, as we go into the customization, you should learn personality types. You should learn archetypes, right? You should learn, you know, personal design as far as what is your human design and beyond just astrology. And even when people teach astrology, they don't teach what's the moon signs and the star signs and all of that. No, people get the most basic generalized information on the planet. I would rather you have a file, a dossier on who you are so you can study yourself and develop based on who you are versus what works for the world in a general aspect, right? So I would teach people the science of self-awareness, and which is, you know, what we do in our coaching program. So I'm saying I would, it's what I do, right? And then the last one was spiritual. And this is what's wrong with the school system today. When you take God out of school, there's no spirituality in school, right? These children should be knowing and connecting to creator source. They should be taught how to foster that relationship with their higher self. They should learn spiritual techniques. They should learn Qigong and meditation and, you know, lucid dreaming techniques. And they should learn how to tap into the spiritual virtues, right, of self. They should move in according to the wisdom of the warriors, right, to be spiritual climate warriors, and not just climate warriors of the environment, but climate warriors of within, right, the environment of self. And so for me, I would definitely make sure that the connection to God is very high in the youth, right? I wouldn't give you a choice to choose between God and the devil. I would make God so evident and present in your world that you will fight for God. And anytime that you see things that go against God, you will speak up for that. You will speak truth, because speaking truth is how you defend God.
The nights I wanted to quit, I confided in God. He got me through 100% of those days.
Shout out to him. Man, that's the OG, man. Anytime I want to call somebody, I call on him.
Amen.
You know, you want to call God, pray. You know, you want to call God, close your eyes. Stop looking in the world and look within yourself. You know, if God give me a mission, man can't take it away. Man can take you through trials and tribulations, but he can't take you off your mission. That's a choice. You choose to stop following God. Nobody can force you to do anything. It's your own will that has determined your reality. So, yeah, it's been many a nights where it's like, bro, why am I doing this, man? My own people attack me. Ain't enough money in this stuff. I'm taking care of the family, man. This shit is stressful. Niggas be fake. It's a lot of unnecessary things in politics. This is an uphill battle. Everybody keep telling me some pending doom is coming. It's like, what am I doing this for? Then God always be sending me a reminder. You know what I'm saying? He say, you're doing it for me.
Amen.
And I say, all right, you're right. I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you for making me who I am, because I actually wouldn't want to do anything else. So quitting will make me suffer more, right, than bearing and going ahead.
That's true. I always tell you, man, God is the plug. You know,
God is the greatest.
Everybody always asks me, yo, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? But when I was 20, I feel like the only thing I was missing was in my own relationship with God. I feel like I was born, I was put in the Catholic church, went to Catholic school, I got confirmed, the communion,
sorry about that, brother.
all of that, but that wasn't my choice. So as I wanted to...
Nobody would choose crackers.
Right. So, but then I got to the point where I was like,
Talking about the communion.
Right. You know? So I just like, you know what? I gotta find my own. Like, only thing I'm missing is a relationship with him. And I feel like I want to take a deep dive and putting God first in my life. So when I really started seeing a lot of the changes, like he put me through a lot, but my life has been great since I let him bad lead off in my life. You know what I'm saying? He's first. And anything I try to do without him never works. So I know that he put me here to serve. Like I'm his humble servant. You know, and everything I got going on, even if the podcast takes a little bit of left, a little bit of a right, we always gonna go back to our center because I know my intentions. I know what we're here for. So this is God's doing right here. You know what I'm saying? He got two of his sons together, you know, doing his work. You know,
Yes, sir.
two soldiers.
No, God is the true north. He's the compass for any time you get lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go back to the foundation of self.
Yes.
Right? And those virtues and those values, it's going to tell you right from wrong.
Right.
When I do wrong, I beat myself up. And the world don't beat me up, I beat myself up.
Right.
Because that's the God within punishing me for going against self.
Right.
Right? So, you know, you have to realize how good we are as a people, that naturally we're so good within our nature that when we do things against it, we punish ourselves.
Right.
The judgment happens instantly.
Right.
Right? The karma happens as an energy coming back. It's a combative system within self until you create that balance that rights that wrong. Right? So for me, yeah, when I do wrong, I feel it 1,000 times. It makes me sick.
Right. All these artists worshiping the devil, hip hop going full demonic. Nobody speaking on it.
Nobody speaking on it because it's and I said hip hop, but hip hop is not hip hop, it's industry.
Right.
Right? The industry was already demonic, and they co-opting artists who have the ability to create songs where they utilize rap, right, and harmony, and they get put into the category of hip hop, right, and they fueling the masses, right, because they are now brand ambassadors for hip hop because they have the skill set, but the background is demonic,
Right.
right? There's a lot of weird things in hip hop. Hip hop has to go through its own, you know, cleansing from the roots of hip hop. There's a lot of accusations of hip hop in the beginning about African Bambaataa and things of that nature.
Right.
So it's like hip hop has never truly been with clean hands, but this has always been a reflection of, or tried to be a reflection of culture,
Yes.
right? A reflection of our realities. And now we are at a point where hip hop is trying to inform us about reality, right? And program us into a lower level of thinking because there are so many different realities that are going on. And the industry is the mainstream industry, not hip hop as a whole, because there are many rappers like J. Cole. J. Cole was spitting the other day, man. He was talking about how all these fake activists getting so rich that they probably want to keep us poor so they can keep benefiting off this shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And first of all, shout out to J. Cole.
Right.
J. Cole is one of the greatest artists ever. And the reason I say that as well, because I haven't seen J. Cole with no sellout moments.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen J. Cole go with the agendas of the norm.
Right.
He been a real solid ass dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I gotta give him his props for what he's been doing, because it ain't easy to hold that down. You know what I'm saying? I imagine you get so many offers, so many deals. So it's like, as we talk about those who are in the devil and demon spectrum of the world, activating that occultism or that Satanist propaganda, we also got to talk about those that be holding it down.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to J. Cole, because I think he is a fantastic representation of the integrity that we want to see in artists,
Right.
right? And it's not that many artists doing that, right?
Very
Shout
true.
out to Ampu, Jack Keller. Shout out to Simba. Shout out to La Russell, right? Shout out to Larry June, man. Shout out to artists that got some positivism in their music, right? Shout out to all of those that's out there pushing the culture forward.
Right. A society that doesn't celebrate, support, and respect masculinity should have no expectation of men protecting women, because that's a role for masculine men. Furthermore, if you can't ask for protection, if you don't give respect, it's mutual reciprocation, and that's law.
Yeah, it's one of those facts over feelings type thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, facts over feelings is you may not feel like that's the right thing to say, But I look at the root of things. I look at the science of things. I look at many perspectives of things. In a world where if the collective consensus of propaganda that's pushed out and that is allowed to push out and if it's not fought back, then that means that you are adhering to the propaganda against men, the misogyny, which is the hatred of men, and the misogyny is the hatred of women, right?
Yeah.
So people say they don't believe in gender roles. Then they say protect black women, right? Then you can't say niggas ain't shit and then be mad when that ain't shit nigga didn't protect you, right? So it's the same thing. A man can't walk around disrespecting women and then want to get respect from them, right? Don't work like that. You can't dog them all day long and then be like, how come nobody treat me with respect as a man? You can't not handle your responsibilities and be like, how come nobody's giving me that type of respect?
Right.
Because you haven't earned it or deserved it. And that goes on both spectrums.
Right.
Men and women have to earn each other respect. We have to earn each other protection,
Right.
right? We think that we are owed something to each other, but we strangers.
Right.
We're strangers in a land that we don't own,
Right.
right? So it's like, no, we have to go back to that code of earning each other. Like women have to respect the men and men have to protect the women, which is basically saying that each person do their job, right? And then we create this revolving situation where it benefits each other and there's reciprocation.
Right.
But with the destruction of the family, there's no brother and sister culture.
Right.
That's not your sister, your brother, that's a nigga and a bitch.
Right.
Niggas don't protect bitches. Bitches don't respect niggas.
Mm.
A brother respects a sister, protects a sister. You know what I mean? When he see you, like, how you doing, sister? He's saying, you family, I got you.
Right.
When she say, how you doing, brother? Oh, she's saying, you family, I got you. That's a completely different rapport, right? So those who continue to perpetuate the image of the nigga and the bitch, they are directly responsible for working for, right, the agendas that keep us divided. And they are the reason. If a woman is going out there constantly calling herself a bitch, she's part of the reason why women are not protected. If a man is constantly going out there pushing the fake real nigga image, right, saying fuck these hoes, he's part of the reason why men are not respected, right? Go blame them if you want an issue.
This is law.
That's
This
law.
is doing something for somebody.
And you gotta submit because submission is power. Because how can a person protect you when protection is what you do before, not after? We're saying that, all right, this is what you need to do in order to be protected, right? If you don't want to listen to that and you're disobedient of that, how can I protect you? Because now you're putting me in unnecessary danger and you still want me to step up, but you will not submit to the law that's necessary for me to protect you.
Right.
One of the most dangerous places in the world is the club. You know what I mean? You out there 2, 3 in the morning and then you expect somebody to protect you. How? You've already put yourself in a situation of danger. If your daughter goes out 2, 3 in the morning, and then what you supposed to be there as a father waiting across the street to help her?
Mhm.
Right? We live in reality, not the world we want to be. In the world we want to be, all men step up and be solid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Men don't become cowards and they handle their responsibility in the world that we are. These boys are soft as cotton. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
shit, they want to be the woman. They
Right.
came there to look cuter than her. They came
Right.
with their nails done and they purse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And shit, they trying to be seen and take some
Right.
pictures.
They
ain't
trying to
worried
be bad
about
bitches
protecting
too,
nobody. Yeah, they trying to be bad bitches all damn day.
yeah.
They ain't thinking about protecting you. So
Right.
you around males and you are attaching a code of masculine order and structure, which also, by the way, comes from a patriarch thought process, right? And you want people to uphold that, knowing that they don't, and then get mad at them when they don't. These are not environments where protection happens,
Right.
right? These are environments where danger happens.
Right.
So it's like the accountability on men go to the club all the time and get killed,
Right.
right? All the time. They outside getting into arguments and get murdered.
Right.
There's no empathy for the black man whatsoever. Our life is seen as a sacrifice. You know what I mean? We was taught in the streets that you can kill a man, just not a woman and a child.
Right.
What does that make a man think about his own life?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
That was
worthless.
one of the dumbest codes on the planet because it's like, nah, don't kill your brother either, stupid.
Right.
What type of stupid shit is that? That you can kill a man, right? Because he reached a certain age. What is it, 16, 17, 18, 21, where you can be a murderer of your brother? It's the most ignorant fucking culture that we got, and we be standing on stupid shit,
Right.
right? And we don't even listen to ourselves when we said it. No, killing that child and that woman and that man, to me, these are equal. You know what I'm saying? Life is equal.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because tell me, what age does that child no longer warrants that this person should not be murdered by somebody for no fucking reason?
That's facts. Because they usually say no women and children. That as you can do whatever you want, just no
man.
women and
Don't
children.
kill no goddamn
Don't-
innocent people.
Yes, sir. So you mentioned the word submissive, and that's a very triggering word to a lot of women, you could say. Is a woman submitting to the core values and principles of a man, or is she submitting to his bank account and lifestyle?
She's submitting to the higher principles of the man. So the man has to submit to something higher than self. And so if I say, babe, listen, God put me on this mission, you know what I mean, to produce and make change on this planet Earth, right? She's not submitting to me, she's submitting to what I submit to.
Yes.
And I'm a vessel for that submission,
Yes.
right? But men have to learn how to submit too, right? Because I was always taught submission is power. When I grew up in the ranks, we had to submit to other men so that we can lead. We had to learn how to follow. We had to submit to things higher than self. We have to submit to Allah, God. You know what I'm saying? Like, men don't want to submit to nothing, they want somebody to submit to them.
Right.
And it's like, you don't even believe in the idea of submission, so how you go push that on somebody?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. A
Right.
woman should never submit to a man who submits to nothing.
Yes.
If he don't submit to God, don't submit to him. Right? Because why are you submitting to him? You're submitting to him because you believe he's going to lead you
Right.
somewhere greater, because he has a higher form of something that he submits to.
Right.
Right? But if it's just himself, you don't know where he's taking you. It's just for himself. Right? So that's dangerous. Right? So men and women have to learn that ability to submit, because that's where you get that power.
Right. A woman with a queen mindset and not a princess mentality.
Oh man, that's tough one right there, boy. So
Did my homework, man. Did my homework.
yeah, no, these are solid.
Appreciate it.
A queen
Appreciate it.
mentality is somebody who's gonna help you build that kingdom.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? What you give them, they multiply.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's the person, that's your eyes. They telling you, man, look, man, I don't like your partner, man. He came over, he was a little too friendly. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't trust so-and-so, man. They feel I don't get the right vibe and the right energy for them. Right? That's your queen, right? Man, you got third eye, that's your fourth, fifth eyes right there.
Right.
You feel me? She's doubling your value instantly when she come in your life. She's
Right.
going to help you increase that network and increase everything that you have. Why? Because your queen has equity in your kingdom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She has equity in your kingdom. So she wants to see it multiplied.
Right.
So she want to see you with more, right? Because part of that is hers.
Yes, sir.
So if you come in with $1 and she help you get 2, half that is hers.
Yes, sir.
You come in with 10, she help you get 100, right? Half of that is hers, right? So a queen is in mutual benefit for your progress and growth, right? So that queen is right there alongside of you building.
Right.
Princess, on the other hand, that's different. That princess, she want that princess treatment.
Right.
See, a queen still want that princess treatment. She want to be pampered. Every woman wants to be pampered and loved.
Right.
But she gonna help you with the things, right, to make sure you can pamper her.
Yes, sir.
Princess ain't gonna always do that. A princess want to just be treated.
Right.
She want the rewards. You know what I'm saying? She wants to be spoiled, right? She wants all the benefits of the queen except the responsibilities, right? So she may not be the one that increases your wealth. She may be the one that divides your wealth, right? The princess mentality is this Barbie mentality that women have, right? And so it's dangerous because you have a lot of these women wanting to be princess to king, so you want your man to treat you like his daughter, right? And that's the same thing. No woman wants a man that's a prince if she a queen, right? So you got these women out here now that's becoming queens. They got their own kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? They got their own thing now.
Right.
You can't get no prince. That's your son.
Right.
That's not how it works. You got to take care of him. He can't help you build, multiply, protect this thing. No, you need a king. You need equal to what you are, right? So that you can multiply.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to people, 1 + 1 = 3. The math changes. That's the God math, right? All of a sudden, you can do things differently.
Right.
So for me, you know, we see a society with that princess mentality where they say that they are the thing they bring to the table. Well, what are you made of, right? Yeah, you could be what you bring to the table if you have the values, principles, and intelligence necessary.
Yes, sir.
Right? Intelligence is a key factor when it comes to women, but we don't talk about it enough
Right.
because it's often seen as, you know, men are insecure about an intelligent woman, and a lot of them are.
Right.
A lot of men don't want that. Why? Because there's a thing of balance to where a lot of men don't want that woman overly logical, but a good man, a masculine man, is not gonna have his woman overly logical. She gonna be able to exist in the softness of her femininity and her feelings,
Right.
right? Versus always questioning and thinking like you, to where y'all coming and combating, right? To where y'all having all these philosophical debates about things.
Right.
No, she should trust in your logic so she can be soft in her emotion, right? Because she needs to bring the vibrations. That vibration is gonna maximize,
Right.
right? She's the womb, you the seed. Without the seed, there's no life, right? The idea of that the woman is the most valuable, the man is the most valuable has to be thrown out the window.
Right.
Now they're trying to create artificial wombs to decrease the value of what God created as a mate per mate and the value that we have to each other. That's what the devil want to do. Nah, man, shit. I give you that seed, you carry that seed, and once you come back, once it be brought and harvested into life, we both have to make sure that that seed is protected and grown correct,
Yes.
right? So a woman has to bring, you know, a value to the table. A man has to bring a value to the table, right?
Right.
She has to be that nurturer. She has to have some skill set. She has to have some knowledge. She has to have some training and understanding of a man, how to keep a man, how to be a good woman. The same way he has to have all those things, and vice versa. Everything you want for a man, think about what you want for yourself and think about what a man wants for you,
Right.
right? So it's like the empathy has to be applied on both sides, because the new ideas around dating and relationships have forever been changed, and they will never go back to that old standard.
Right.
No, ain't nobody going back. It has to move moving forward. And as much as progressiveness sometimes go overboard, and a lot of it goes overboard to mutilate it, right? You can't rewind time. Once the mind is expanded, it doesn't contract, right? So we have to operate in, well, how does it work in today's time? And we have to start with, what do we want? And we have to communicate to understand each other.
Right. I don't expect a slave to understand a free man.
I don't. A slave does not know freedom. A slave, you know, is living by the liberty that he is given. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you cage a monkey, right, throughout his life, and he's given a certain parameter on how to move, what to do, you know what I'm saying? Eventually you can remove that cage and that monkey would do the exact same thing, right? Because that's all he knows. He doesn't know his nature, right? All he knows is the liberty of things that he's been given, right? Man is the same way, right? Man has been caged through his indoctrination. Man doesn't know he's free, right? Man is in a zoo, right? The zoo and the zookeepers have all these rules about what man can't do, because when man used to get out of line, he used to get beat.
Right.
Now they no longer have to beat him. Now he teaches the beating into this child. Don't do this, you go get beat.
Right.
Now it is a self-inflicting and reinforcing system throughout time that we teach oppression to each other. We teach to follow rules. We teach not to be too loud, not to take up too much space, not to make moves. The reason women are growing at the rate that they are, because they are being taught to break those rules,
Right.
right? Black men have to be taught that same thing. In the world of people and society have to be taught that same thing.
Right.
Stop following the rules of the zookeeper. You know what I mean? Like, you free now. You know you can use these tools of technology however you want to. You know you can take information and execute however you want to. You know that the gatekeepers don't exist. You can create your own gate.
Right.
You know you can use blockchain technology in whichever way that you find feasible for your mind to. You know that you can challenge existing systems to create better conditions for people to live in by, you know, bringing the collective together. It's up to you.
Right.
Me, I'm just a vessel. 19 keys, the person, that don't matter. It's about just listening to the thought, and everybody starting to think on a different pattern in a more enlightened way.
Right. Last 3 questions. What would be your message to your younger self?
My younger self, I just tell him to make sure that, you know, I wouldn't need to do too many reinforcing things. My younger self was very headstrong about who he is and who he wanted to be. But if it was on some time machine shit, I'm telling him go invest in Bitcoin.
Right.
But it'll be more so about, learning how to put structure behind everything that you do, right? And learning to trust in your intuition 100% and never doubt yourself, because you're going to be right a lot more than you wrong. But the world tries to make you feel insecure about your intuition of being right,
Mm.
right? And you have to understand that God didn't give you the thought to be wrong. He gave you the thought because it is the right one. Follow it every single time.
Message to the youth.
Take over. It's takeover time.
Right.
Nobody can stop the youth. They trying to figure out how to live long. You go live long.
Right.
This is your time, right? This is your era. These are your rules. Find guidance, find elders, find wisdom, learn, slow down, right? Don't feel the need to move too fast. You control the world. You control the rules. You can set the standards. You can regulate whatever you want to. If you tell the world where you're going, that's where the world goes. If you have a vision for what the better world you want to see, that's where it goes.
Yeah.
Challenge the systems to be a better world,
Yes, sir.
right? Challenge yourself to be better than every other previous generation, right? And understand ways to learn to find real truth and destroy the illusions.
Right.
Navigate the shadows and heal yourself from all of the karmic debt that your parents and grandparents and ancestors built up, right? Learn to heal yourself to be at the highest point. Think, right? And rule.
And what do you want to be remembered for?
For unlocking the mind of the world as a representation of evolution. That we entered into this new paradigm. 19 Keys came, he demonstrated, and he left, right? But his demonstration was enough to create new archetypes, new world, new designs, new ideas. He existed in a world to show men that they can do better than what they was given. He existed to show a world that we can be creative, innovative, original, free, fearless. We can stand on business with everything that we do. We can inspire, we can teach, we can lead, and we can break barriers. He existed to remind us of who we were and what our power was, and to walk with that power. And that 19 Keys wasn't a person, it was an idea.
Right. I love that, man. So for the world out there, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment. Shout out to merch, shout out to websites. Let them know we can find you.
Yeah, man, y'all can go get your Crownz Society gear, merch, and everything if you want to support the movement. Of course, our booking email is booking19keys@gmail.com or 19keys at 19keys.com. You can go to Crownz19 at CROWNZ19.com. Grab you a crown, support. This is all independent, so the only way we can continue to do what we do is if we have business and enterprise. We have Gold Water, those are nootropics for the brain that allow you to stimulate your neurons, increase mood, memory, learning, intelligence, your body, all of those different things. Stream high-level conversations and tell somebody else about it. Don't be selfish with this knowledge.
Right. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, tap in with the guys. Very grateful for your time, man.
Yes,
It means
sir.
a lot to me.
Oh, and new music on the way.
Right, new music on the way. And be patient. Send an email. I sent the email. All right? It took some time.
And
took some patience. But listen, when God says...
And that budget for
That's
sure.
a fact.
The
That's
bigger
a fact.
the budget, I promise you, the faster. It's just something happened with the email sequence. The bigger the budget, it's just amazing how fast we respond.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the title of the email is the budget, I promise you, I'm gonna tell bro, click on that one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Respond to these people. Send your budget and send your number, and let's have a conversation.
Right. Conversation with Zoe, man. Appreciate you.
I love a conversation.
Absolutely.
I appreciate y'all having me,
Always,
man. This was a blessing.
Peace and love, world. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, support the channel, show your love. You know what I'm saying? We have a great conversation week in and week out. You never know who's coming. You never know what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's all about peace and love. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment.